several months since we've had good rain. It's pretty bad though. But I'm at 1,200, just about 1,200 miles on this bike. 1,186. So it's about time for me to do 12 or 1,000 mile review on the Beta. Give you guys my thoughts on it. There's definitely some good, and there's certainly some bad. Let's start with some of the good stuff. This bike is very point and aim. Wherever you aim it to, you're pretty much going to go, which is great. My DRZ was not like that. Makes very good power. The SAC suspension leaves a lot to be desired for. A lot for me to want. But it's not awful. The slow stuff it does really good on. The high speed stuff not so great. I really just don't think there's much you can do to fix it. And there's some even worse to go with that. So I've been wanting to do this review for a little while. Haven't been able to. I've had the bike apart. So this fork seal went out, and not only did that fork seal go out, but when my boys over at KDR Suspension pulled it apart, the whole valve stack on the bottom of the compression rod was not attached. I mean, it just completely fell out of the bike. For a while I've been... Shit, we got a tree down. I've been kind of chasing some stuff with this, not exactly feeling right. But nothing crazy. But the left side, when I turned left, I could feel the fork actually dipping. And had I just replaced fork seals myself, I more than likely would have had no idea that that's what was wrong. Because I would have not pulled the whole valve stack apart. The other big ass issue I had with this, right around 20 hours, I had a complete ECU failure, where the bike was hanging idle, which wasn't great, flaming out, some other issues, kind of common stuff on the 23 4-stroke Betas, but mine was particularly bad because the ECU just failed in its entirety. Apart from that, I've had no issues with the bike. Beta's warranty stuff's been really, really easy to work with. But this isn't the only Beta that I have around. My brother has a 430, the 24th 430. We've had issues with it. Another one of my really good buddies just picked up a 500. He's yet to have any issues with it that I know of so far, so the 430's had a starter failure. It's had clutch issues, no start issues, flame out issues, same as this. A map update took care of most of that stuff, but the end of the starter shaft just completely broke off, which isn't good. And on the new 24s, I'm seeing that they're turning orange, which also isn't great. realistically though, my bike's been great. Apart from the ECM failure, the valve stack kind of falling apart, I would say quality control issues are pretty bad. I think Beta just needs to tighten the shit up a little bit. Stuff I have on the bike: Cyker handguards, giant loop pull shaft, Enduro Engineering front and rear sprocket guards, AXP skid plate, ProBenz Seat Concepts low seat. I have short legs, Fastway rack, Pirelli MT16 Garacross rear, Shinko MX216 fat tire on the front, giant loop bar bag, Briggs tail bag. Some of this stuff stays on depending on what kind of riding we're doing. Some of it comes off. Hard loop, hard stuff like today normally I would take that off, especially if I'm in a big group, just so I can not slow everybody down. Double take mirror, just for the factory. The stock mirrors on these bikes are awful. There's nothing you can do to make them tight. Other than that, the bike's stock. IMS oversized tank, P-Tech rad guards. Other than that, when I first got the bike, I took everything apart, every electrical connector, cleaned it, filled it full of dielectric grease. The connectors they use are not very waterproof. I doubt you can see them in there, but they're not very waterproof, so anything you can do to help waterproof them is good. That's about it. The bike's been really nice. It's definitely a massive improvement over the DRZ. You know, we have 6 gears here. We have 10-ish more horsepower, and it's considerably lighter. This is 247 pounds, I think, before I started adding a bunch of stuff to it. So it's really light. The bike's very point and go. It tractors really well. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. There's just compounding little issues that are making me question my Beta decision, and I'm sure it's not all the bike's fault or all the manufacturer's fault. I mean, they're a really low volume dealer, importer rather, and cool. And I'd say that they probably just don't have, I mean, they don't have the massive team that like KTM, Husqvarna, or Gas would have for quality control. But I really like it. So I found out the 390 and 350 have a much shorter ratio transmission than the 430 and 500. Not that I prefer the wide ratio trans of the other bikes, but when you hit the road, even in 6th gear, this is a lot like a DRZ 400, where if you're trying to do 60, 65 mile an hour, trying to get to your next trail, this thing's wound pretty tight. And that's with the factory 15-tooth sprocket on it. But this bike rips, man. It's way more capable than I am fast. So I don't have a lot of gripes about it. I just wish better suspension. This stuff, the sack stuff, just soaks it up. It's really good in the low speed stuff. The high speed stuff, I think I have a flat tire. Yep. Damn it. there's anything else I need to say about it. The bike's been really nice. It's been good to me. Haven't had any mechanical issues with the bike so far. Yeah, this is a pipe dream here, but we're gonna try it anyway. If you guys are looking for a small little air compressor for your rides, your dual sport and whatever else, this thing's been awesome. It's like 60 bucks. And I would say I could probably air up or air down probably like 45 bikes, I would bet. I could change air pressure on in just in one sitting on one battery. It's rechargeable, so you don't have batteries you have to put in it and take out, but that's on me. I should have had a tube with me. There's no reason I don't have one with me. I have plenty of room in that bag for a tube. The bike's really easy to work on. You know, the seat comes off with just one small button, and you're in your battery. So your air filter right here. Pull here. Pull here. It's definitely time for me to do mine. It's due, but it's really that simple. I think it's fantastic. I don't have to pull the whole bike apart, get tools out to change little things like that. I mean, that all is super helpful, super easy. There's just little things. This bike will boil the fuel. I think all the betas do that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the fuel pump getting hot, even though it's immersed in fuel, but it will boil all the fuel. I haven't found a tank vent that actually works. I've tried an inline vent. I've tried a bunch of these different caps. This is a Tusk one. I've tried IMS. I've tried the inline that you would have with the normal hose. Most of the betas come with a hose hookup that goes into this little hole right here. Mine broke when I was trying to put it in, so I don't have that. But yeah, I mean, it's been bulletproof. It's been knocked over, laid down, dropped, jumped, sent through the air. It's a dirt bike. Some little things, but like I said, they compound with a brand new bike. You don't want to have a brand new bike that you are constantly working on, constantly trying to sort something out with. You want something you can start up and ride, especially something you're using as a dual sport. It needs to be dependable. You know, we have days that we might do 200 miles of riding. You need something reliable and dependable. This bike has been that for me after we got the ECU situation sorted. I think it could be better. I think it's quality control. But if you pay 10 grand for a bike, you want a bike that is going to just do everything it's supposed to do. But now I'm gonna go ahead, find somebody to come pick me up, come pick the bike up, or run me a tube. And luckily I've got a pretty nice little field here that I can work on this thing in. I'm off the road, it's quiet, it's not too hot outside, so I'm not doing too bad. But that's pretty much it, man. I mean, that's 1,200-ish miles on the bike this year. Picked it up in February. It's been a good reliable bike for me. It's lightweight, and I'm happy with it. I really am. I have no regrets with buying this. The only regret that I do have is that after riding the 430 is a monster in comparison. Way more mid-range power, this thing, but a little more of a handful in the woods, and that's fine. I kind of wish that this was a little bit more of a handful at times, because it gets a little boring on the road. So on the road I want to be entertained with lots of power. Not that this is really lacking. I mean, this bike makes 47, I think, is what Dirt Bike Magazine got on their dyno. It's 46, 47, somewhere in there, which is good. That's great for a small bore 4-stroke. And this one is a stroker, so it's basically the 350 with a 2mm longer crank. So the stroke is considerably bigger. It works really well. I really like it. I'm really happy with the bike. There's just some teething issues that this bike has, and it's just kind of what you get. A small dealer, a small manufacturer. They're not a big manufacturer. They're not a lot. I mean, they don't send thousands upon thousands of bikes to the US every year. But I'm really happy with my 390. It's been a good bike. They look really good. Their styling is really good. If you want to run saddlebags, which I did run saddlebags on these before, it's damn near impossible. They end up, even with the Tusk smallest bags, they end up on the back of your legs, and you can't move your feet the way that you need to. Can't get your feet back and drop your heels like you should. And then you have Fastway as I think the only people that make a rack for the previous bikes. Beta just released one for the new, their new two-strokes. Their, what are they, the X Pro models. You can now get one for. So things are happening. There's a lot of companies that are making more and more stuff. Enduro Engineering makes a lot of stuff. Slave cylinder guard and case protectors on there. I have their rotor guards. So parts aren't hard to find. There's almost nothing for the bike that I can't get directly from Beta, even their aftermarket stuff. Beta's accessory website's awesome. You can get pretty much everything, every brand of part that you would want, aside from, they don't sell the AXP stuff, but there's lots that you can get from them, which is good. My only gripe with the bike, the only thing that I wish was different, is the suspension. It's great if you're doing tight technical single track. It's not great if you're on some really fast double track or the gravel roads and stuff, especially here in West Virginia. They get pretty rough. Washed out, big rocks, everything else. So this suspension is just not great. The low speed stuff is amazing. The high speed stuff is just not great. And from what I understand, it's not going to get any better. You can't put any money into it that would make it perform as well as even just the stock KYB stuff. But finding KYB takeoffs is impossible. So unless you're going to buy a race edition and then put more money into it to get blinkers and stuff put on it, it's not worth it. I'm not fast enough to justify the KYB stuff. The SAC stuff works well for me. I just wish I could find that happy medium between the two, where this is stiff enough to take some of the bigger hits and not give me issues, but I also wish that it was still plush enough that it feels good in the single track. I can transfer my weight easily, which I can now. Weight transfers for traction and stuff don't seem to be difficult on this. So, but there it is, 2023 Beta 390 RRS. It's been a good bike, 1,000 miles, 1,200-ish miles down on it now, and it's been really nice. It's been really good. The kickstands suck. They're too short on all of them. Found a company, I can't remember the name. They make a extension for the kickstand. It's like 3/4 of an inch. It's 3D printed. It works great. It definitely helps. It doesn't help so much on the 23s, I don't think, but the 24s, it helps significantly. They almost stand straight up. But otherwise, that's it. I'm gonna find somebody who can run me a tube or come pick me on the bike up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.